Hello and welcome everybody to Wells High School. You are watching Oregon Sports Beat. I'm Ben Paul along with Dave Sanford, and we have the Cascade Cup Championship in a few minutes between Forest Grove and Beaverton. And Dave, both these teams coming off of overtime victories in the semis, and the coaches were excited for this matchup, especially about the excitement leading in after the last game.
Both teams with tough wins. Beaverton upsetting a Lake O team that had struggled through the season but really caught fire in the playoffs. Forest Grove with a win over the host Ida B. Wells team, also in overtime. Both exciting ways to get here. These squads are both low on numbers. Beaverton is perhaps the smallest program in the state with only 16 players. Forest Grove, 6 guys from their team not here at the start of the game because of high school graduation. So how they manage the beginning of the game will be an interesting challenge for them. And for folks who don't know what the Cascade Cup is, the OHSLA state championship game will be played later tonight between Jesuit and Lake Ridge. That tournament features the top 24 teams in the state as calculated by laxnumbers.com. Teams 25 through 36 compete in the Cascade Cup. It is essentially a silver bracket state championship, and we're excited to see Forest Grove and Beaverton. Very often you see teams on the rise in this tournament. 2 years ago, OES was in this game. 3 days ago, they were in the state semifinals, so perhaps growth of one of these teams coming in the future like that.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, so both these teams in quite different conferences. For instance, Forest Grove finishing with a record in the regular season of 16-3. You might ask, how are they not in the championship bracket? Well, they're in the Pacific Conference, not a particularly strong one, whereas Beaverton comes from the Metro League. They've had to play teams like Jesuit and Sunset this year. So coming in with an 8-8 record at the end of the regular season, you might think, oh, they're only 500. That is a tough conference.
The lax numbers formula very much rewards strength of schedule, just as RPI does for the college playoffs. And Sunset and Jesuit both are top 5 teams. Jesuit obviously one of the best in the state for the last few years, and that definitely helped Beaverton earn the seed that it earned coming into this game.
So we are about to get underway. A beautiful day here in Portland, Oregon. Opening face-off between Beaverton and Forest Grove. About 80 and not a cloud in the sky, and we are underway. Forest Grove wins the first face-off, and Dave, in this first few minutes, I was going to say, what do you do with pacing as they go right down the field, but I was going to ask, what do you do? Is it kind of like a boxing match, first few minutes, Coach?
You'll see more jabs in the beginning. Right there you see Kaplan Lipscomb, number 33 in white, winning the face-off forward, getting the ball to the high-powered attack of Forest Grove. Beaverton will struggle to stop them all day. The more Forest Grove has the ball, the more likely they are to be the winners in this game.
And right away, I like the physicality on defense from Forest Grove. Dylan Brink, who Coach Cox highlighted as being so vital for them. I love them putting the pressure on, and now Beaverton gets it clear.
Dylan's a ferocious two-way player. He rarely comes off the field. You see him playing offense with a long stick right now. He can shoot from range. He also plays football. Very good one-on-one defender, great transition player. The heart of this Beaverton team.
The heart of the team, and as Coach Cox was blunt with us, he said he's not leaving the field today, which, only got 15 guys, but that's going to be an impressive day for that young man. Switching over his right, getting a shot on goal, and that is a pretty nice save right there. Had to drop down to a knee, Dave.
That is Kane Tierney with the save on a shot by Jenga Mungai. Jenga Mungai, one of the highest scoring midfielders in the state. Kane Tierney, an all-state goalie, one that is not beaten from that distance regularly.
Yeah, and Unk, as they call him, a shout-out to Jenga Mungai, very, very talented player. And he got a decent angle on that, generated quite a bit of power on the shot and put it on frame. Just a nice save right there, and that'll wake you up a little bit. For what it's worth, I was a keeper in soccer, and sometimes it gets the adrenaline going a little bit, that first save, and now you're like, all right, now I'm really ready to go. Sometimes you just got to get that first hit down. Behind the net here, I liked Forest Grove's spacing so far, but that Beaverton defense, and again with Brink, just not giving him a whole lot of space at all. Look at that on-ball defense, and what are they going to call here, Dave?
Cash Mendola with the ball there, driving on Dylan Brink. He's called for warding off, using his free hand to gain advantage against the defender. Definitely feeling, I think, the heat from the big defender, Dylan Brink. There's a great opportunity for Beaverton on the other end as number 22, Everett Linth, shoots wide with a great one-on-one opportunity. With
Cross into the center, and it's 1-0 to Beaverton. Credit the goal with Tim Carroll. He gets the Beavers on the board. 1-0, and a fast start to this game, Dave.
Great play by the Beavers, playing in the gray, scramble situation. Kane Tierney beaten, dropping to his knees, reads that the way he's reading that shot. And Beaverton making him work, making the goalie move side to side, burying the ball.
There's just not a lot that Tierney can do about it. I mean, they got it absolutely centered up, probably just about 6-7 yards out, and he finished it well. Tierney doing what he can there, but the speed of that shot at that distance, that would be a super save, and it's 1-0 Beaverton.
Beaverton will need to consistently get the ball inside to win this game.
Second face-off, and tell you what, Forest Grove's face-off guy is looking very strong. He's 2 for 2 so far. So Forest Grove has taken both face-offs. They find themselves down 1-0, and Coach, I can't get a question in because we got so much action, but I was going to ask, you go down 1-0, does anything change, or do you just keep settling into your offense, calm down, let's play our game?
At this point in the game, you're just focusing on what you're trying to do. Forest Grove is most likely going to have matchup dominance on the face-offs all day. So if they're losing by a goal or two early in the game, it doesn't matter. All that matters to them is getting into their flow. Beaverton needs to be more conscious of possession because Kaplan Liscombe is an elite face-off guy, plays for True Lacrosse at the national level, is recognized as first-team all-conference face-off guy in his state, or in his conference rather, and that can swing the game a lot.
And I apologize, I can't tell if that's his preferred hand or not. He did a good job. If he is a lefty, switching and getting a good look there. You'll know more about them because you coach a lot of these kids. But I like the offense I've seen from Forest Grove so far, despite them not having a tally quite yet.
Yeah, they're sharing the ball well. Nice ground ball from Beaverton coming out of the back. Is Henry Harris moving the ball on the offensive end, and they've got transition again and another goal. Torin Karen.
Karen again, his second of the game.
Time of possession thus far very much in Forest Grove's favor, but the scoreboard, which is the barometer that counts, 2-0 Beaverton as they capitalize on 2 goals in scramble transition situations.
First of all, I apologize for butchering Torin's name earlier, but Torin Karen, he's just so calm with the finish. He's found himself in 2 golden situations, doesn't panic or overthink it. It's like taking a penalty in soccer. Just stay calm, and he slots it away, and he's had a fantastic start. 2-0 to his Beavers. Tell me what's happened here, Dave.
We've got a face-off violation. Beaverton went early. It's going to be Forest Grove's ball.
So will that count as a face-off win for Forest Grove?
It will count as a face-off win for Forest Grove.
So they are 3 for 3 now on the face-off, despite being down on what really matters on the scoreboard, 2-0. And if you're Beaverton now, Dave, does anything change? I asked you about Forest Grove, but if you're Beaverton, you got 2. It's a little too early to change the way you play, correct?
Beaverton, defensively, they just need to play as a team, support each other, play fundamentally sound. Their keeper, Liam McDonald, who gets scored on right there by the big lefty Carter Stock, has been about 70% in the playoffs. He's been a big part of Beaverton's run. Forest Grove's attack is a wagon. Over 100 points for both Carter Stock and Jared Coons this year. The lefty and the righty down low on the pipes. If those guys get rolling, they'll run 6, 7, 8 goals apiece in a game. Very hard to stop, very hard to contain. The method at which Beaverton is going to do so is something that's going to be a deciding factor in this game.
And we're only a few minutes into this game. Dave, I have a feeling that's not going to be the last goal we see. It's just a lot of fireworks to start this one. We saw a few nights ago with the West Lynn Lakeridge game, which first of all, the final score wasn't necessarily reflective of the game being tight all through the first half. And we saw offenses kind of struggling a little to find a rhythm at first, but these teams have found it off their offensive pace right away, it kind of seems like, getting a lot of shots on frame.
Both teams seem well coached. They seem comfortable in what they're out here trying to do. You see Kaplan Liscombe here getting his defender to where he wants to initiate his dodge from. Beaverton's defense not sliding, staying on their man, pressing out on the ball now.
And Coach Tierney did inform us that a little bit of confusion with some jerseys today, so not everything will perfectly line up, so we apologize if there are any of those moments. But for the most part, it should all be good. Controlling it, just kind of slowing the pace down a little bit at this point, just inside the 40-yard line, 6:50 left to play in the first. Good offense generated here by Forest Grove, but Beaverton keeping their length correct.
Yeah, so you see the freshman Dylan Richters with the ball, guarded by a short stick. Beaverton is trying to shut off Jared Coons.
On a hot day, how does conditioning come into play, Dave?
Conditioning is going to be a huge thing. It is hot on that field. The temperature will definitely be in the 90s by the time that we're in the second half down on the turf. And these teams are running short benches. Carter Stock sweeping over the top, gets to a strong left hand here. He shoots, and a big save by Liam McDonald.
Donald, a nice save right there. And getting to his preferred left, as you were talking about with Lynn. It's a couple of times he's done that now and gotten some good looks. So Beaverton might need to be a little wary of letting him get to his preferred side.
Carter Stock, also an elite level box player, very good at getting to the middle of the field and generating shots, drawing double teams, and then dishing the ball. Now we've got Beaverton settling in on offense.
Nice little swim dodge, gets it over to his left, carrying it behind the goal, one hand. He's got a man in the center. Might have been tough for him to see with the keeper in the way. A little bit of physicality on defense from Forest Grove, wrapping all the way around, getting into the middle, getting a shot off, and a pretty nice save right there from Tierney, his second.
Torin going to the cage, looking for a first quarter hat trick there. Tierney closing the door on that. We do have a flag down, which will be a penalty against Forest Grove.
And this was up, I think, 30-ish seconds ago, if I remember correctly. But is this going to result in a man up for a period of time?
It's going to be an offsides penalty against Forest Grove, so it'll be 6-on-5 Beaverton for the next 30 seconds.
Okay. So here's a man up play for Beaverton. Forest Grove would be important momentum builder for them to get a kill in this spot after just getting back one goal. That's going to go wide. Chased down by Jose Manso. Dealing with a little wind in the booth here. Coach had a lot of praise for Manzo. He told us, Dave, this guy works harder than anybody in the state. He said he'd drive by Beaverton High School at 3, come back at 7 o'clock, he'd still be there in there, and his team goes up 3-1.
Everett Linth with the backdoor sneak off of man up. First time Beaverton ran that play at the beginning of their man up. Forest Grove rotated early and shut it down. This time Forest Grove doesn't get there, and he is able to beat Tierney on the crease.
So Everett Linth adds his tally with 5:01 to play in the first. And Dave, do you get the sense that Beaverton was just a little more ready for the start of this game?
Hard to say. They're definitely being more patient in terms of getting the ball inside on their shots. Or actually, I guess not being patient because they're just taking advantage of transition situations. Here they come up with a big face-off win. That's Finn DuBois.
Beaverton's first face-off win, by the way.
Yeah, ball on the ground and controlled by Kaplan Lipscomb with the ground ball. Is coming down the field.
Oh, yeah.
Big swing right there from number 22, Everett Linth, but referees think he got stick, so no penalties there. Just a good hustle play.
Substitute coming on for Beaverton. Clock still rolling. Forest Grove, 3-1, not even close to insurmountable, especially in a game like this. But what do you want to do to just kind of settle, make sure that you don't go too far behind here early on?
I think that you really just want to make sure that you are continuing to play at your pace. Forest Grove definitely seeming like they are here to play more of a half-field game. Beaverton looking to push in transition. That dodge, maybe a little bit of a force early in the
turns it back over, though.
Early in the possession, but a great play by Carter Stock to gain the ball back on the ride, and a ground ball by Jared Coons.
Physicality has really picked up in this game, and I think we are going to get a whistle.
I think we are actually going to get a
timeout
called by Forest Grove to take care of the possession.
And you were mentioning with low numbers and such a hot day, you're going to need to burn some timeouts.
It is definitely going to be time. You're going to see timeouts used strategically to for people to manage their personnel, manage to keep their kids hydrated, and get their best guys out on the field. Neither team, again, like we've talked about earlier, neither team is really deep. They've all played like another advantage for Beaverton is that their semifinal game was on Tuesday. Forest Grove's was on Thursday, due to some kind of school activity for one of the teams. I can't remember which one. So they are coming off of a lot less rest, and they need to control that tempo to get back to where they want to be. So despite being down 3-1, some things I've noticed from Forest Grove's offense that is going to give them a lot of promise. Obviously, Carter Stock is their goal scorer so far, but everything is when they kind of get down into the attacking area, it's kind of run through him a lot. He's comfortable going with his right, drawing the defense over, but then switching to his preferred left, and he's got multiple looks that way and scored one of them. So I think if you're Beaverton, got to be wary that he's the guy they're going through. But for Forest Grove, try to build around him. Need to build around him. They also need to get the ball into the stick of Jared Coons. He's one of their playmakers. You'll see him starting with the ball in his stick coming out of this timeout right here. Beaverton's strategy thus far has been to shut him off, and it has definitely affected the flow of the Forest Grove offense. You're going to see Dylan Brink matched up on Coons right here. A little bit of a two-man game.
Coons getting in, but just runs into a swarm of orange jerseys that time. That's great defending. Forest Grove does come away with it. Here's Coons again.
Coons with another tough ground ball. He's kind of like slowing down a little bit. Kind of seems like maybe he took a whack there. Sweeping over the top right now.
I like the aggressiveness with which Coons plays. Not the biggest guy on the field, but he is not afraid to take it into traffic, as we just saw right there. That's the look that Forest Grove wants. Second of the game for Stock, and it's 3-2.
Stock has room to set his feet on the wing, gets his hands back, and buries that shot past Liam McDonald. Again, it's the first time we've really seen the dynamic duo from Forest Grove working together. We've seen a lot of one-on-one isolation plays so far. When one of them draws a double team, they move the ball to the other. That's when the magic happens for them.
So Carter Stock, off of the assist from Kuntz, who did an awful good job to draw in the defense and go through a lot of traffic, take some hits, but made the unselfish play to set up a beautiful look for Stock, who's got a really fast shot.
Another face-off win clean for Kaplan Lipscomb here. Forest Grove looking to stack successful plays after successful plays and even this game out before the end of the first quarter.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned, the face-off's been huge, but Forest Grove, I think that Beaverton's defense might need to talk a little bit about not letting these types of looks happen, but at least they were able to force him off and make him try to take a difficult near-angle shot, but they're getting a lot of looks, Forest Grove, right now. And that's showing. They've got two back. 3-2 Beaverton right now. Behind the net, this is Stock going to his right. Remember, he's left-handed, tries to cut back, and he's going to somehow win it again, though.
Great check right there from Henry Harris to dislodge the ball, and here comes Beaverton in transition. It's Jenga Mungai getting a clean 4-on-3 coming down the break. He's got a trailer, too. He shoots from distance, and a big save by Kane Tierney.
Tierney, that's his third save of the day, and Unk just taking it all the way down there, getting a good look, and you got to like that if you're Beaverton. Good clear and a good opportunity, but a nice save.
Good strategy from Forest Grove, holding strong on the pipes, letting the Beaverton player shoot from the outside. Those shots are shots that Tierney's more keen to swallow regularly. We've got a whistle. I don't know what it is. I think we're going to have a penalty on Beaverton.
If that's the case, it should result in a man-up opportunity.
Looks like a penalty on number 13, Axel Walters.
So man-up opportunity here for Forest Grove. Minute 49 left to play in what's been a very entertaining first quarter of Lax here at Ida B. Wells High School in Portland, Oregon. This is the Cascade Cup Championship. Stock, who's got 2 already, centers it, kicks this one out.
Beaverton shuts off Jared Coons again to disrupt the man-up play of Forest Grove. A sloppy exchange pass sends the ball out of bounds, and potential for a great kill right here for Beaverton if they can successfully clear the ball over midfield.
Yeah, and in a game like this where goals are coming so far, anytime you can get a kill is definitely going to be a momentum booster. But Beaverton right now, I think they'd be happy to, I was going to say, just kind of settle it down and go into second quarter with a lead, but can't have too many of those mistakes because Forest Grove will make you pay.
Yes. So big mistake on the clear there from Beaverton, followed by a couple of missed first-time ground balls from Forest Grove. Sloppy exchange pass sends the ball back to Beaverton. Penalty has been released, so teams are now at even strength.
Last few minutes, Forest Grove has spent a lot of time on the attacking end. Seen a lot of these runs. Here's going to be a wraparound, trying to get in the middle. A great check right there. Penalty is going to be called, much to the chagrin of the Beaverton faithful here. What did you see there, Dave?
Ref, open your eyes!
Some disagreement from Beavers grad. What's your take, Dave?
So, referee called an illegal body check on Jenga Mungai, and that looked like the kind of check, like what you're allowed to do there is apply equal pressure.
That looked more than equal pressure?
Looked like more like equal pressure. He might be a bigger, stronger guy than the guy that he's hitting, but in that situation, it's pretty easy for the referee to understand that, referee to throw that flag.
Mm-hmm. So this will be another man-up situation for Forest Grove. With 52 seconds left, good luck, and it's 3-3.
This time, Beaverton doesn't shut off Jared Coons, and again, Batman and Robin working together. Carter Stock comes from behind, feeds the ball up to Coons on the wing, who buries it, and we've got a brand new ball game with 49 seconds left in the first quarter.
We certainly do. Forest Grove going down 3-1. Now have come back and have tied it into the end of this first quarter, and as you mentioned, Batman and Robin, I think that's a perfect way to describe Kuntz and Stock. They've just been working so well together, so now an assist and a goal in the last few minutes for Kuntz, and it's 3-3. Forest Grove almost won the faceoff, and that's going to be a violation.
It's playing without your stick.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw the traveling motion, and that seems appropriate in that situation.
If you drop your stick, you're not allowed to make a play on the ball.
And a timeout called for the Beavers. Coach Cox wants to talk. What's the message here, Coach, in your huddle after giving up 2 quickly?
I think they probably called that timeout because they only had 5 guys on offense to just make sure they were taking care of the ball. But closing out quarters, just like it is in any sport, is super important. I think that he's probably just going to get his team on the same page so that they're going to be holding the ball, working down to the last shot. They don't want to give Forest Grove the opportunity to play offense again before we get to the end of the quarter. With the face-off situation being predominantly controlled by Forest Grove, Beaverton has to value every possession. They can't rush things. They can't throw the ball away.
And I think that something Beaverton might want to talk about, just following Kuntz on those runs. First of all, Kuntz looks like he's in fantastic shape. I mean, he's just running all over the place, all over the field, getting in behind the net, and he seems most comfortable there being able to create, or his off-ball runs like we saw a moment ago on the dish from Stock. You just kind of got to know where he is at all times, even if he doesn't have the ball in his stick.
This is definitely true. Another wild card for Forest Grove, though, is going to be what kind of production do they get out of the other players on the team. In their semifinal game, the overtime goal was scored by Cash Mendola. on a dunk on the crease when the defense was preoccupied with the other guys. So this team is not afraid to share the ball. They trust each other, and they've got some complementary players like Cash, like Dylan Richters, who will be in the mix trying to make plays on offense to get them over the top.
Yeah, and I think you make a good point, because this is only the first quarter, but as the game progresses, you kind of start to figure out if somebody's running through just a couple of guys, and you're going to need other producers as well, or else it becomes easier to defend, so to say. 29 seconds left. There's a really nice look in the middle for Jose Manso.
Great feed by Axel Walters to get the ball inside. Forest Grove didn't cover that crease man well, and it was a great look. Beaverton with another look coming up. About a great check.
Really critical intervention there. And now the deep hole bringing it up.
Yeah.
Couldn't quite keep possession on the spin move. Only 5 seconds left. Be surprised if Beaverton got a shot off, but I don't want to speak quite too soon. Was that saved regardless? Or did he get it off in time?
He caught it. That shot I'm pretty sure that shot was not released before the buzzer sounded. But, good job getting the shot off. Still, nonetheless, a shot from distance at Tierney's stick, not one that's going to beat him.
So 3-3 here at Wells High School after one quarter here between Forest Grove and Beaverton in what was an exciting quarter. A lot of offense. Beaverton jumping out in front early, getting a couple of quick goals from Corin within a span of about minute 15 seconds. So Beaverton went up 2-0. Carter Stock responded about a minute later to make it 2-1. Linth, just a couple minutes later, put the Beavers up 3-1. And then a goal from Carter Stock, assisted by Kuntz with 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Beaverton then striking from Stock to Kuntz with 49 seconds left. Forest Grove striking from Stock to Kuntz with 49 seconds left. And that's where we sit right now. But what did you like out of that quarter, Coach?
I think that to some degree you see guys feeling each other out. There's a little bit of a chess game going on with both teams in terms of how their defenses are going to play against their offenses, what threats they're going to try to pay more attention to, and what chances they're willing to take. Both teams defensively, you're going to give up shots. The key is giving up the shots that your goalie wants to see. For Forest Grove's defense, that means outside shots for Kane Tierney as opposed to letting guys get inside. For the Beaverton defense, they want to try to keep the ball away from Stock and from Kuntz.
So 3-3, this is the Cascade Cup Championship. Reminder, coming up at 3 o'clock, we have the OHSLA All-Star Game at 3. And then later tonight, we are going to have Lake Ridge and Jesuit in what should be a fantastic final. The two teams met once in the regular season, about as close as you can be. Lake Ridge eked out a win on their home turf against Jesuit 5-4 in overtime. Both teams rolling in the semifinals. Jesuit and Lake Ridge both, and excited for that one coming up tonight. The championship bracket final. Right now, we're about to start the second quarter in the Cascade Cup final, and we got a tie ball game between Forest Grove and Beaverton. Beautiful day here in the Pacific Northwest. And Forest Grove, another face-off win. That's their 5th win. It's 5-1. He's certainly doing his job as Lipscomb on the face-off. And Lipscomb's taking it all the way, and he finishes with the right hand. Spikes it into the ground and scores.
Beaverton changes their approach on the face-off there. They put the long stick, Dylan Brink on Kaplan Lipscomb and try to take the ball away from him. Kaplan still wins it, brings it into the offensive end. A quick juke from him has Brink losing his balance, and then Kaplan gets to the middle. Nice little twister shot past goalie Liam McDonald, gives Forest Grove the lead.
And so Forest Grove, just like that, coming out with the juice to start the second quarter. It's now 3 unanswered goals. And, Coach, if you've gone down 4-3, your Beaverton, first of all, still a ton of lacrosse left to play, so I'm not saying you have to be overly concerned with the score at the moment. But what do you kind of do to get back into the rhythm after allowing 3 unanswered?
You want to have a long possession. This is where face-off dominance becomes such a thing in lacrosse.
And certainly face-off dominance being exhibited by Forest Grove, although Beaverton is going to get possession back right here after losing another face-off. Offside was called, I think. Oh, not on Beaverton, Forest Grove. Great look for Beaverton. It's tied up again.
Everett Linth buries another one in transition. Little bit of a sloppy play there. The Forest Grove defender going over the line and then falling down. No penalty flag was called because it was a loose ball when he was offsides. The ball was in the air, so that would just be a change of possession. Beaverton controlled it, which led to the play on, and Everett Linth getting to a spot where he can finish.
So we're tied up at 4 apiece now between Forest Grove and Beaverton. 2 goals in the first minute of this third quarter. And now back to the face-off where Forest Grove has kind of found their niche, and they win another one. Now 7-1 in Forest Grove's favor. Physical play from behind. And a whistle.
Going to be Beaverton ball, just ball out of bounds. Guys going hard on that ground ball. We're seeing great aggressive ground ball play out of both teams. Everybody understands the value of possession here. Jenga Mungai brings it into the offensive end. And we've got a conduct foul against Beaverton based on which referee called it. I'm guessing that's probably something off of the Beaverton bench.
Long pull, kind of hucks it. It's going to find a stick in white. Nice run down the right side from Chase Vinson of the Vikings. Vinson still with it, going to cut over to his left, and he's going to drop, but that's a sloppy pass, and it's going to be a turnover.
It's another good play from Henry Harris, getting his stick in there to force that turnover. We've seen several possession-ending plays from him on defense. Been a real force on that end of the field for Beaverton so far.
So 4's up here in the second quarter between Beaverton and Forest Grove. We are Oregon Sports Beat. We're watching the Cascade Cup Championship. Here we're at Ida B. Wells High School, and we've seen that a couple times today, just losing possession.
Carter Stock, ferocious on the ride. It's one of his best talents, Essen Attackman.
Good check.
Second cause turnover he's had today there. He gives it right back, and again, it's Harris making a play.
And that's a crucial intervention from Harris, because if not, then Stock is going to get a pretty nice look on goal and likely get his hat trick already.
And we've got another flag down. No idea why.
Man up being called. And the Beavers are happy. So it's going to be a penalty on the Vikings.
Looks like an illegal procedure call of some variety. Maybe an illegal substitution, as it's the referee on the box who threw the flag.
It'll be Brink. Mr. Never come off the field, according to Coach Cox. The heart of this Beavers team. He's got it in his stick right now for when play resumes. 4-4 between Forest Grove and Beaverton.
I hope at some point in this game we get to see him shoot the ball from up top. This kid's got a real pretty shot.
Tough angle for the Beavers right here. I like Forest Grove's defense right now, but this is going to be too good of a look. It is going to go just wide. Beavers should retain possession.
Forest Grove doing the right thing, being compact. They're ready to give up outside shots, trusting Tierney to stop them.
And that was Jenga Mungai with the look there. Mungai's going to fire again, and he goes top right. Jenga Mungai gives his Beavers the lead.
What a shot.
A lot of pace on it, and he placed it beautifully.
Tough to beat Tierney from the outside. Great shot right there from Jenga Mungai.
So that's another tally with 9:51 left in the second quarter. We've had multiple lead changes, and it's 5-4 Beaverton now. as mentioned, I think this is going to be it's a big opportunity for any face-off if you're the Vikes. So that's where you've made a living so far. That is a big hit, and it's going to win a possession. But Beaverton gets it right back. Good intervention right there, and now carrying it is Brink.
Dylan Brink taking the face off with a long stick again, does a great job of creating a 50-50 ground ball against Kaplan Lipscomb, and his teammate comes up with it. Here's transition for Forest Grove if they can control the loose ball. Still loose. Some contact there, looks good. Good aggressive play. Beaverton comes up with it. They're back the other way quickly in transition.
Check, no good. Good possession for the Beavers. Can they get it into the center with a good look? Manso in the middle. Dropped it. Fires, no good. Just a little bobble right there from Manso Costin.
Great ball movement, great hard-hitting action. It's Axel Walters with the ball, kind of falls down.
This is going to be scooped up and taking a hit. Can he retain possession over the midfield line? This is Mandola. Cash Mandola had the overtime winner for the Vikings. Coach called him the anvil of this Forest Grove team.
Looks like we're going to have a push right there against Beaverton, which is going to help Forest Grove maintain possession.
With it in his stick right now, this is
Dylan Richters matched up on Axel Walters. Draws a slide.
Richters
beats the slide, gets back to the middle, holds the ball just a little too long. Ball's loose on the ground.
That was a good centering opportunity.
Great ground ball for Jared Coons, and he ties it at 5.
Kuntz with his second of the game. He's now got an assist and 2 goals. 5-5, 8:14 left to play. A little weird because it looked like the opportunity was gone after the center pass was bobbled, but they were able to stay with it, get another possession, and score.
Kuntz and Stock both do a tremendous job hunting the ground balls in those situations and turning them into goals. Here you're seeing Carter Stock up on the wing, also to fight for the ground ball on this face-off as well. As Beaverton again goes with the pole, Dylan Brink against Kaplan Lipscomb.
Lipscomb has been magical on the face-off today. It's going to go to Manso.
Looks like he did not have great communication with his wings there. Nobody there to pick it up where he's flipping it out to.
So Beaverton has controlled the last 2 face-offs. 5-5 game. Just under 8 to play in the first half. Scramble around at around the 25-yard line. No one can quite corral it. Still loose. Forest Grove keeper going to come way out here. Bit of a miscommunication with his defenseman, but he does scoop it up, does Tierney. We got all sorts of whistles right now.
Pretty sure that's a timeout from Forest Grove. Kane Tierney, son of head coach Scott Tierney. Definitely a difference maker for them. They don't want him running around in a position where he can get hurt.
7:39, and there's been a fast start to this quarter, Dave. It seems like both teams it seems like when they get in the center, they're getting some looks. They're getting the looks they want. I think that's why we've seen 10 goals so far. What do you need to see from the defenses that's different?
I think that we're seeing the defense make some pretty, defense is doing okay individually. I think on both sides the level of communication needs to be elevated. Defenses are sliding, but not necessarily at the right time. When they do that, the other team's offenses are exploiting it. Recognizing shooters is another thing that they've got to do. Generally, packing it in is a pretty good idea for Forest Grove because of the strength of their goalie on outside shots, but they've got to realize that they're going to need to extend to the outside shooters from Beaverton based on what we've seen out of Jenga Mungai and from what we know can be coming from Dylan Brink.
Jenga Mungai got it going just a few moments ago. Had back-to-back looks, and he buried the second one. First one got a lot of power on it, just went a bit wide. His team retained possession, being closest to it. Pretty much a carbon copy setup Got an open look towards the left edge with a good angle, and he just fired it right into the top right corner of the net for one of the better goals of the game so far. Forest Grove, though, with Kuntz responding less than 2 minutes later. And that's where we sit right now. It's 5-5 between Forest Grove and Beaverton. Crowd's been great so far today. People still trickling in with their cold beverages, getting some food here. Great day to sit back and enjoy as Lipscomb down the right side. Can he cut to the middle? Takes a bump, and that's dislodged, but Lipscomb does recover. Lipscomb being defended by Harris.
One of the things with players at this level is you're going to see guys drop the ball. You're going to see guys make passes that are not perfect passes. The thing that's most important is not that you execute perfectly every time, but how you react to the situations where you don't. If you drop a ball, are you going to win that ground ball back? Are you going to win the run out to the end line if a shot misses the cage? We've seen great effort from both of these teams. Shout out to their coaches for instilling that effort and that work ethic in their players. Here's another great fight on a ground ball.
Yeah, because we're going to see a lot of loose balls, and as you said, whoever's hustling to pounce them, those are great opportunities. We saw Forest Grove get their last goal that way.
And here's Gavin Singer bringing the ball into the offensive end for Beaverton.
Singer with the long pole, now going to retreat a little bit. What an intervention right there, takeaway.
White was called for offsides. I see a lot of guys back onside, so I didn't. And we're just going to go with I didn't see it, and we're going to move on there.
Yeah, Coach Cox, not the happiest camper right there, seeing talk to the sideline official, but now he's in the ear of one of his players. Substitution coming in.
Someone popular, apparently. Officials are having a bit of a discussion about that offsides play. Now we've got a flag in the air.
We're going to await the verdict here.
It's going to be an offsides call against Forest Grove. Forest Grove had the ball. There must have been something earlier in the play, and the play on must have gone on for too long.
6:11 left to play, first half. We got a tie ball game. Here's Beaverton with a man. They have a man up right now?
Yep, they've got a 30-second man advantage after the offsides call, running something different than they did last time.
Manzo to Brink, wraps it around. Corin.
Everett Lind from a low angle. Goes low to high, but it's gobbled up by Kane Tierney, who will look to clear a man down. He's got a man downfield.
Deep pull with a move, spins to his preferred right, and he finishes.
Amazing play from Cole Graham to put the momentum back in the favor of Forest Grove.
First time I think we've even called his name today, and wow, did he make it a big moment.
Huge outlet pass from Kane Tierney starts it. Graham has a tremendous breakout. Beaverton's defense stays on their high-powered attack, giving Graham the opportunity to get to the cage and bury that shot.
And I was most impressed with the spin there. I thought he was going to have a go with his left, but was able to keep possession. Somehow got it back to his preferred right, and he got a lollipop once he made that spin and did not make any mistake on the finish.
Tremendous body control.
I thought that on the other end, Carone had a pretty decent look, but Forest Grove able to kill the fire. Down a man, they scored a goal.
Better communication between Lipscomb and his wings right there, but the wing fails to come up with the ground ball, giving it back to Beaverton.
Linth has it for the Beavers. 5:07 left to play in the first half. They get it back out to Dylan Brink. It's a 6-5 ball game. Unk's got it. Had an impressive goal earlier in this quarter. I am, of course, referring to Jenga Mungai. Mungai taking his time a little bit. Now he's going to set up so he can make a one-on-one move. Gets a good look. Mungai just wide. I don't know if there was a stick to that from the keeper, Tierney, or not. But Beaverton will keep possession regardless. They're going to work behind the net. Mungai, spin move. Nice save by Tierney. Just making himself big.
Tierney uses his head on that one. Forest Grove comes up with the ground ball, and now they're running. They've got numbers again, 4-on-3 into the offensive zone. Stock, the lefty, feeds one more. Coons just misses.
Coons probably wants that one back. Just a little bit of a misfire there. Looking for his hat trick in the first half. Nice wrap around, great angle! 7-5 Forest Grove. That is Hepler.
Forest Grove goes quickly off of the restart there, and Hepler, the third attackman on this line, beats his defender, gets topside, and sneaks the ball past Liam McDonald.
So Hepler, another guy whose name we haven't called a lot, but boy, did he make it count there. As you said, the quick restart, I like that. No time to whine about missing a good chance. They come right back, and Hepler just able to weasel his way inside, and he probably couldn't believe how open he was in the center. So that's a nice goal. It's 7-5. Beaverton does win another face-off. Mungai, what a save from Tierney. Oh, my goodness. Coming up big. That shot had goal marked all over it.
Tierney's heating up.
That's a big momentum swing right there because Beaverton could have had one back. Great opportunity. Oh, he tried to make a pass from the center, just sailed on him a little bit.
Look was there. Shot might have been there too on that one. We're seeing things open up for Forest Grove. They seem to be showing more confidence playing in transition, attacking quickly.
So there's 3:49 left to play in the first half. Carone took it up for Beaverton. Carone still carrying, makes a deep run. Manso.
Manso has done a great job of getting open on the crease against the Forest Grove defense. We got a flag down here. It's probably going to be some variation of an illegal body check.
Yes, I'd imagine. Manzo hit the deck pretty hard. Good to see him get up all right.
Looks like we're going to have two penalties. One for offsides and one for the body check. So 2 men up for Beaverton, 3 minutes, 28 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Great opportunity for Beaverton to close the gap here.
(7-5). Forest Grove has put up a string of 3 unanswered for the second time in this game. They have a 1-goal lead. Carone behind the net. Gets it into the middle. That shot is blocked. That was Linth taking it. Beaverton retains possession with 3:16 left to play in the second quarter. Clock rolling again, 7-5 Forest Grove. Carone, can he make a move to the middle? Nice centering pass out to Brink. Linth going from the right side. And once again, Tierney's done a good job making himself big in goal. So Manzo going to take this one out for Beaverton. Behind the net, Carone. Into the middle. It's a nice pass off good vision from Carone. Now he's looking to get open. Tierney again making his presence known.
Lone guy tries to go high to high on Tierney right there. Tierney says no, meets him, sends the ball over the cage. Great stop. Forest Grove's defense definitely building confidence on this man up.
Carone into the center. It's going to go behind his intended target, who wasn't quite ready for it. Forest Grove scoops it up. Another loose ball. Hot potato out here right now, and Brink, the long stick, will come away with it for Beaverton. Length. And was that saved, or did that take a deflection, or just go a little wide there? I couldn't quite tell.
Hard to tell from this angle if he got a piece of it.
The Beaverton applying some pressure, even though they haven't put a tally on the board in the last few minutes. They're applying pressure on the offensive end. Manso to the left. Needs to find a little bit of help. And he's just being swarmed. But Manso now gets a look into the center. What a pass and a goal! Manso sets up Carone, who's got a hat trick. Very well worked from the Beavers.
Little bit of over-aggressive defense from Forest Grove creates that opportunity, forces the defense to slide. If the on-ball defender just keeps good position, protects the middle of the field, a lot easier to stop that opportunity from happening.
And so the assist going to Manso, who did a lot there because he was in trouble, but as you said, a little bit of over-penetration. And Carone found himself wide open. And he's got 3 goals on the day. Beaverton back within 1. It's 7-6. Lipscomb wins the face-off for the Vikings. Lipscomb still got it, waiting for a little bit of offense to develop. And at this point, does fatigue set in a little bit? You're waiting for that halftime break?
I think that they're all, using that time to get set up in their offense, catching their breath. I think both sides are taking advantage there.
Work behind the net, wraps all the way around. Going to set up their offense right here with Dylan Richters. Richters, can he get on to his right? Pretty good on-ball defense. Richters doesn't have a lot of room, but does create something. Fires one. Going to take a deflection, and this is going to go out of play, and it will stay with the Beavers.
It was about 3 inches from being a really sick shot, hitting the corner of the post right there. The freshman Dylan Richters dodging on Axel Walter. Gives Forest Grove an opportunity to get the ball into the stick of Jared Coons on the restart.
Coons has got 2 goals and an assist today. Goes to his left. He's a right-handed now. Gets back to his preferred right. Gets a shot off. Why, but it will stay with the Vikings. Minute 2 seconds left to play in the second quarter in what's been a really fun game here in the Cascade Cup final. Wrap around, can get an angle, he's double teamed, gets it into the middle, and I think he tipped it in with his stick even though he didn't have possession, but it's a goal for Forest Grove.
Hunting the ball when it's on the ground is super important, and there you see a dribbler get unlucky for Beaverton. But a great hustle play for Forest Grove puts them back up by 2 with less than a minute left in the first half.
Could you see who scored that one, Dave? I couldn't quite tell.
I have no idea.
But regardless of who it was, as you said, hunting the ball, and I don't think he had possession, but tipped it in, kind of like with a hockey stick type of play, and it's 8-6, a huge goal for Forest Grove. Again, apologize for not seeing who deserves credit for it. But it's 8-6 Vikings, and another face-off one from Lipscomb. That's 10-1 face-offs. 8-6 Forest Grove. Lipscomb wrapping inside, trying to get it to the center. We got whistles.
It's going to be a hold call on Beaverton, giving the ball back to Forest Grove. See that defensive player impeding Lipscomb's movement. Good call by the officials. Very seasoned staff on this game for the third team on the field. Carter Stock going to work.
Stock, a couple of goals early. The other players on his team have stepped up, which is why you haven't heard his name as much, but he's had a really, really nice first half.
Henry Harris did a great job of turning Carter Stock back into a double team there to get the ball on the ground. Beaverton comes up with that loose ball, and Coach Cox calls a timeout.
Yeah, I just want to get a good possession, yeah.
Well, there's 9 seconds left in the half, so a good possession, not something that is probably going to be in the cards, but maybe some kind of a trick play.
Exactly. This is where you pull out the Hail Mary type stops.
Yep.
They just want to at least try and get some shot off, even if it's not from an optimal angle.
Beaverton has demonstrated the ability to get down the field and attack quickly, so there's no reason to expect them not to try and do that right here.
8-6 Forest Grove. They fell behind 2-0 early. They were down 3-1 at one point. Came back to took a lead. Beaverton tied it again with Mungai. It's really been all Forest Grove. Beaverton did get one back with Carone getting his hat trick late in the second quarter to make it a one-goal game, but then less than a minute and a half later, Forest Grove hunting the ball and off of a rebound tipped one in to take an 8-6 lead, and that is where we stand right now in the Cascade Cup final. Beaverton utilizing a timeout here. We've seen their ability to get downfield quickly, and so maybe you can draw up a type of play that will get you some sort of look here before the half comes to a close.
9 seconds. You probably want to have one guy catch the ball around the 45. You want to have everybody else opposite, setting picks for each other, and then you're throwing it to space in front of the cage.
I was going to say if they could try to find Carone, that could go a long way, but there's just 3 seconds left. Right. Scooped up by Jenga Mungai, and that is going to warrant a flag, as it should. And so I'm curious to see if they're going to how much time they're going to put back on here, Dave.
That'll be a good question. So the other thing that is interesting here, and we'll see if the referees notice it or not, Jenga Mungai's helmet came off on the field. This means he needs to be out of the game until the next dead ball situation, which would take him off of the next man up for Beaverton going into the second half. Do they enforce that going through halftime? Did the referees notice because they were all walking away?
Oh, so it does look like that's so that's the call for halftime, but that we will have the penalty.
Penalty will start the third quarter, and Beaverton will have the ball.
Okay, so it's been a very entertaining first half here in the Cascade Cup final. It is 8-6 in favor of Forest Grove, looking to hold on, but we got a whole half of lacrosse left to play here at Ida B. Wells High School. This is Oregon Sports Beat. We're going to take a halftime break. Don't go anywhere. We will be back in less than 10 minutes.
think so.
And welcome back to Ida B. Wells High School. I'm Ben Paul with Dave Sanford, and this is the Cascade Cup Final broadcasted here on Oregon Sports Beat. And Dave, that was an exciting first half. I think everyone, kind of the stands kind of took a break, got their popcorn and Gatorade. You're going to need it for the second half because it's going to be an entertaining one. I liked what I saw in the first half from these teams.
A great back-and-forth battle between Forest Grove and Beaverton. Equal strengths and deficiencies on both sides, which the teams take turns exploiting. What this may come down to is players that are more experienced in big game situations, ready to step up and make that big play for their team.
Is it 7-all? I don't think it is.
He didn't think it was either.
So, do we have any update on that? I thought it was 8-6, but and it said that at the end of the half. But right now, I guess we'll just go with what the scoreboard says. But we will try and get an update on that.
That official tally needs to come from the table. It can't come from us.
Yeah.
But they should have a radio to the table.
We're not doing the score.
Appeared to be some controversy over the score on the scoreboard.
We're not the only one.
And it says 7-7 on the scoreboard. It was not 7-7 at the end of the second period. So I'm sure they'll get that corrected right away. Several of the players on the Forest Grove team played for True Lacrosse together in club at a high level on a team that wins a lot of tournaments, that grinds out dubs in tough situations, so they've got experience doing that. On the other side, Liam McDonald in cage for Beaverton has been lights out, close to 70% in the playoffs. He's been huge in their playoff run and their overtime win against Lake Oswego. It'll be up to the individual players to step up and make the plays that are going to get their teams over the top here.
So both teams have come out here. The clock did hit 0 for halftime, but that's not the official timer. Just kind of lets everyone know we're about to get ready for this half. But players trying to stay loose right now because right now the officials are over. Are they over at? Is that the scorers table they're at right now? Or?
They are at the scorers table.
Okay, so that's what maybe we're trying to figure out. Here's what I have since we got some time. In my unofficial, of course, stat sheet, I've got Carone scoring twice to lead off the game. Then Carter Stock with a goal for Forest Grove. Linth scoring for Beaverton. Stock again for Forest Grove. Kuntz getting on the board for the Vikings. Followed by Lipscomb scoring for the Vikings. Linth scoring again for Beaverton. Bungai scoring for the Beavers. Kuntz again for Forest Grove. Graham scoring for Forest Grove. Hepler scoring for Beaverton. Carone for Beaverton, and then a Forest Grove unidentified player. But that's the tally that I have right now, which would make it 8-6 if my sheet is correct. But I think that's what we're figuring out right now. Hey, worst comes to worst, I think Oregon Sports Beat, we could play a big part here and going back and providing the replays to see what the tally is. If we can't get the score figured out, we got it all recorded.
Teams are breaking the huddle. Scoreboard still says 7-7.
Teams have broken the huddle, but the referees have not broken their huddle over at the scorers table. Actually, Dave, now that I look at my score sheet, I've got 7-7.
You do?
I do.
All right.
So they might have had it wrong in the
including the
quarter.
kick.
Yes, including the kick.
So maybe it was wrong on the scoreboard before.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That might have been it. But for what it's worth, and let's be honest, what I'm keeping unofficial here certainly isn't the gold standard, but I've got it as a 7-7 game. And they have now changed it to 8-6, just as I was patting myself on the back. But they've got it at 8-7 in favor of Forest Grove.
Always trust the men in stripes.
Yes.
Beaverton to start the second half, man up, following the penalty on Forest Grove at the end of the second quarter.
So it's 8-6 in favor of Forest Grove. And we're underway here in the second half. Going to see Beaverton settling back into their offense. Had time to talk it over at halftime. You got a nice little rest, but now we'll see if they can set up guys like Carone, Everett Linth. Linth has had a fantastic game, but they got a lot of weapons, especially when you also throw in Unk Mungai in there. And Mungai's got it in his stick right now. Not a lot of an angle. Beaverton content to just play a little possession behind the goal. Here's Linth. And right now, Beaverton, a little more patience, Dave, it seems.
Beaverton didn't seem to realize that they were man up there.
That's kind of what I was wondering, is you want to get some shots off.
They just held the ball for a minute without any motion. Maybe they just feel like they need to get a long possession to get a little momentum back in this game, and that's their strategy. But surprised they did not attack in that first minute of the game.
So of course, we are now back to full strength.
We're going back to Jenga Mungai trying to attack the short stick on an alley dodge. He shoots it from outside instead, well wide of the cage.
But Zardo is the closest man to it by far, and so it will stay with the Beavers. Manzardo, who had a beautiful assist to Carone in the first half. That was his big mark. Drawing the defense in and finding Carone in the middle for a Beaverton goal. Deep hole's going to clear. There's a big hit from behind.
So a play on, play off situation there.
Oh, that's a beautiful
look.
Play
continues, and a great transition look for Carter Stock, who just misses the cage. Back up by Hepler, and Forest Grove will maintain possession.
Stock scored twice in the first quarter. Also had an assist to Kuntz, so he's had a big game so far, and that's a goal.
Hepler does a tremendous job right there, getting his shoulder into his defender, Trey Abramson. He gets close enough to the defender that the defender can't throw stick checks on him, and he uses his body to get his hands free and put that ball over the shoulder of Beaverton goalie Liam McDonald to give Forest Grove a 3-goal lead, the biggest lead we've seen thus far in this game.
So that is 9-6 now in favor of the Vikings, and just so there's no controversy, I actually misread my sheet. I do have it 9-6, just for what it's worth. So Hepler gets his second, and it's 9-6 now for Forest Grove. This is the largest lead of the game for either team. Forest Grove now scored 4 of the last 5 goals. And we'll see how the Beavers respond, but right now it's Forest Grove attacking. Good look in the center, gonna go wide. It goes to Beaverton.
Referee saying that Forest Grove did not have a guy behind the line to back it up. Referee in the right place to make that call. Henry Harris picks it up, but there's heavy pressure on the ride, and the ball is on the ground quickly.
Harris trying to win this one back. It's going to stay in.
I think they got confused as to what line the out-of-bounds line was there. You got blue lines for out-of-bounds on the sidelines, yellow on the end line. Going to have a failure to advance call against Beaverton, and Forest Grove will get the ball. What that means in lacrosse, once you gain possession in your defensive end, you have 20 seconds to get the ball over the midfield line, then 10 more seconds to get the ball into the offensive box. Restart will be at the midfield line for Forest Grove as they get another free offensive possession here.
And it's Stock. Pardon me, that is not Stock. It is Grayson Gooden. Good to see him on the field. And if anyone was wondering why you didn't see him in the first half, well, he forgot his jersey. They were coming from graduation. Yeah.
I wasn't going to say it.
I was going to say it. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist Grayson. But I'm good. It's good to see him out there now in the second half.
He's been a huge contributor in transition in their playoff wins through the second half of their season, really stepping up, earning a lot of ground balls too. So,
and so that's a big addition for Forest Grove here in the second half. You're already up at halftime, and now you get Gooden. That's a big boost.
Fresh pair of legs, and you've got to appreciate the culture of head coach Scott Tierney of not bending his rules in terms of having that kid on the field in the first half after making a mistake like that. Nice split from Jenga Mungai. He shoots, and a big save by Kane Tierney. Ball's loose. Ground ball to Jenga Mungai.
Tierney's been big in goal. He's a big, powerful goalie. He's going to have another opportunity here, but couldn't do anything about that one. Mungai scores again. It's 9-7.
Great individual effort from Mungai. Gets the stick to the middle of the field. Beats Tierney 5-hole that time.
So that one comes with 8:12 left to play in the third.
Beaverton coming out with the long stick on the face-off again. That's Dylan Brink. An adjustment that Forest Grove has made. They're putting their short stick on the wing on the draw side of Lipscomb after they've had a couple of sloppy ground balls later in the second period, and we see Dylan Richter's come up with a good ground ball there, but it's quickly taken away by Beaverton, who settles back into a clearing situation.
Their defensive end, they want to get it across, of course, to avoid another penalty.
Good stick work, and Gavin Singer brings it over into the offensive zone.
And now they have, I think he got the clear. I think he reached the 30.
Yep.
7:35 left to play, going through traffic, getting a shot on goal, and Beaverton scores again. This time, it's Henry Harris.
I think that was Jenga Mungai again.
Pardon me, was that Mungai again? I saw 12 instead of 2, so it's a hat trick for Jenga.
I think that was Mungai again. Jerry Malik Byers goes over the head for the big takeaway check, something you don't necessarily want to do when you're playing short stick defense. Jenga Mungai channels his inner Ric Flair and says, now we go to school, and he buries that shot down the alley to make this a one-goal game.
And so that's 2 goals in a 1-minute span for the man that they call Unk. And he's got a hat trick, does Jenga Mungai. 2 of them coming here very early in the third, and it's a 1-goal game all of a sudden. Forest Grove took a 3-goal lead a moment ago. Been multiple lead changes, but now Beaverton, those are a crucial couple of goals from Jenga. It's your team right back in it.
We talk about players stepping up and making big-time plays to change the pace of the game. Mungai also an elite AAU basketball player. See number 2 for Forest Grove really put his shoulder down on that dodge. Doesn't manage to take care of the ball while he's doing it. It's a great check from Grayson in transition. Bit of a scramble play here, and Beaverton maintains possession.
Benzardo makes a nice find in the middle. Got it to Axel Walter. Beaverton will maintain possession here. 6 minutes, 34 seconds left to play, third quarter.
Nice one more pass there from Walter to Karen, but the shot saved by Tierney.
Here's Mungai. He's got a hat trick. Can he get more? Took a hit. And coming away with it is Cash Mandola. There's a big slash from behind. Falling to the ground, body's hitting the floor. And when it's all said and done, the Beavers are running it down with the sideline with it.
Axel Walter with numbers in transition. He hits Mungai, time, room, bullseye.
Mungai has scored 3 goals in less than 3 minutes of play.
The natural Hattie from the multi-sport athlete, bringing Beaverton level at 9 with 5:52 to go here in the third quarter.
So, Jenga coming to life in the Cascade Cup Championship game. Good assist from Walters there. Nice patience to find the right dump off.
Great job to create the transition opportunity from the defensive midfielder there.
And if you're Forest Grove right now, what's the message? Because they're probably a little bit flustered after allowing 3 straight.
I think the message is we want to play 6-on-6 offense for the next 2 minutes. And Beaverton concedes on that face-off to play defense. Looks like they're going to let him.
Lipscomb taking it up. He's scored once in this game so far. Forest Grove's got to make smart, sharp passes here. Last thing you want to do is allow Beaverton more transition opportunities. Being defended by a long stick. Lipscomb still got it. He's going to have a go, and that's behind the net, but his team will keep it.
Lipscomb likes to take that early offense run against the tired face-off guy before he subs off the field.
Good move in the middle.
Here we've got Hepler again using his body. He draws a double. Shot goes wide, but it's handled by Stock, who moves it up.
Beaverton, long pole coming away with it. Seen this a lot of balls on the ground. This time it is going to be picked up by Forest Grove.
It's a great ground ball. And Coons with it behind the cage.
Coons has
against Brink.
Haven't called his name a whole lot second half. He had a big first half, but good defense by Brink.
This game's marquee matchup right here. Brink lays the lumber, and Coons with a tough pass.
Yeah, that's just good defending by Brink. He was patient, not diving in, but knowing when to take some swipes. Good on-ball defender.
Ground ball goes to Hepler. He's going to take his defender behind to initiate.
Hepler will be looking for his hat trick after scoring twice in this game.
Slide comes fast from Beaverton, and the pass goes awry.
There's a nice hit. But Forest Grove, with their physicality, will win another possession. Well, this is exactly what you said you wanted to do if you're Forest Grove. You wanted to play 6-on-6 offense for 2 minutes.
I like Beaverton's defensive strategy here, sliding quickly, making Forest Grove score assisted goals.
We're back in play. I think this is Stock with it. Switches over to his offhand. He's a lefty. He's scored 2 and had an assist so far in this one. It's 9-9 between Beaverton and Forest Grove. He's got it behind the net right now. Carter Stock moving in with his right. Remember, he's a lefty. Pass not handled. Stock trying to get it back. Beaverton's keeper scrambling in there, and he will grab it. Rolling out behind the net. This one's going to drop. Beaverton should pick it up. Great run from Singer. Singer dispossessed. Scramble of bodies again.
Got a flag down.
.3:13 left to play, third quarter. Subs coming on for both teams. It's a hot day. Both these teams with fairly short rosters. Everyone's getting to play, and they need all the men they can get on this hot day. Nice move inside from Kuntz. Just couldn't quite finish, but that was a pretty little move.
Beaverton didn't look ready for that restart. Kuntz gets underneath the defense, but just can't capitalize there.
Forest Grove will get the restart. Stock. Point blank. Hepler's got said hat trick.
We talked about Beaverton forcing Forest Grove to score assisted goals, and you see one right there. The great pass up on the wing from Carter Stock, and Hepler, realizing that they've beaten McDonald over that left shoulder several times, puts another ball there. It gives the lead back to Forest Grove, 10-9.
So the last 3 tallies for these Vikings have all been by Jackson Hepler. And we hardly even called his name a whole lot until late in the second quarter, and he said, hey, I'm here, and I'm making an impact. That's 3 straight, again, for his team, giving them a 10-9 advantage. So that ends Beaverton's scoring consecutive three consecutive goals. Forest Grove with a big answer, and they win the face-off.
Hepler's a senior. He also had a huge game in Forest Grove's in-conference win over Glencoe, the first time in program history they had beaten Glencoe, really rising to the occasion here in the second half.
Great centering dish And a good shot from about 17 yards out. Good, powerful shot.
Caden Cornett gets on the scoreboard for the first time, and again, we're starting to see more of the supporting crew from Forest Grove having impact on the scoreboard in this game. Sort of the opposite from Beaverton, where we're seeing Jenga Mungai really take over.
If you're Coach Cox, you know, it's tough only having 15 available players for this game. I do think Forest Grove has a little bit more options on the bench, and so it's tough, especially in this heat. But right now, Forest Grove has taken an 11-9 victory. By the way, this is the score Beaverton beat Forest Grove by earlier in the regular season. They won 11-9. Forest Grove now has the advantage.
Great face-off win there by Lipscomb, using his wing, getting the ball back in transition.
Lipscomb, I have no problem with him taking a little bit of, or slowing it down, I should say, because you've just gone up a couple of goals. You don't want to give Beaverton a big transition opportunity. Just control the game a little bit when you're up. And now the face-off specialist will come off, but job very well done from Lipscomb. Coming back on is Cash Mendola, had the overtime goal winner. That's a pretty good save right there from McDonald, making himself big and preventing his team from going down 3 goals here in the third quarter. He's going to way out of the crease, and he throws one wildly up, and Manso trying to win it. And here come the Vikes. Huge intervention that time from Gavin Singer, taking it away. Otherwise, it would have been a really nice look for Forest Grove. And what are you seeing? Are people just, are players just trying to run with it before they've looked it in all the way? Seeing a lot of ground balls.
You're seeing a little bit of that right now. Some of that might be fatigue. Fatigue definitely affects the execution of your fundamentals. How many reps you've gotten in practice doing these things definitely plays into account here as to whether your mind's going to remember to do it when your body is failing. A little bit of a push against Beaverton there in that scrum is going to send the ball back over to Forest Grove.
I'm going to check my phone and see how hot, because it's 83 degrees out here, which probably means it's, 92 plus on the field right now. So got to get plenty of fluids. And it's a tough environment out in this heat. Forest Grove trying to go up 3, and just a little bit high and wide that time from Hepler. He's trying to get his 4th.
Hepler didn't really have his feet set, didn't really catch the ball loaded that time through. Same from the exact same spot that he scored last time, though.
It's going to go wide, but it will stay with the Vikings. 51 seconds left to play, third quarter. Forest Grove up 11-9. Good look. And here's Mungai. Mungai has got a hat trick for Beaverton. They're going to need more of his magic. They're down 2 right now. Mungai, here comes Cash to deliver some defense, and it's going to force him out. So pretty good defending, not letting him get into the middle. Just 30 seconds left to play in this third quarter. Behind the net, it's Linth. Linth, talented player. He's got a couple of goals in this one. And I think Beaverton's using a timeout here.
I think that's what is happening, yes.
11-9 in favor of Forest Grove. And been quite a few lead changes. Forest Grove went up 9-6 early in the third quarter, followed by 3 unanswered goals from Mungai within a two-minute span to tie it. But now Forest Grove with Hepler and Cornett have taken a 2-goal lead. So with a whole quarter to play, obviously, nothing is anywhere close to insurmountable of a lead. But if you're Forest Grove, I think you have to be happy with how you've responded after those 3 Mungai goals in rapid succession.
Definitely some big body blows coming from both teams in the third quarter here. Coach Cox hoping to capitalize on these last 23 seconds and close out this quarter with a goal to draw a little bit closer. As this game gets into the fourth quarter, the face-off domination of Forest Grove will become a huge thing if they use that to grind the clock and value possession.
23 seconds left to play, third quarter. Beaverton breaks the huddle of their timeout. Reminder, coming up after this game, we got the All-Star game starting at 3. And then tonight, Lake Ridge and Jesuit in the final that everyone has been waiting for with bated breath. I know I certainly have. Two powerhouses, and as expected, they will meet in the championship game. Jesuit looking for revenge after Lake Ridge beat them earlier in the year. Jesuit looking for a four-peat. Am I right about that? Jesuit looking for a four-peat. Very, very hard to do. Lake Ridge trying to prevent that from happening. Should be a great game later tonight. Beaverton restarts. 23 seconds left in the third quarter after they used a timeout. They trail by 2. Mishandled for a minute by Mungai, but he picks it up. No problem there. Mungai scored 4. Drops this one to Brink. Brink with a deep shot. Dropping to his back and making a save is Tierney, who's had a really nice game in goal for Forest Grove. Time expires here in the third quarter. And all right, Coach, I'll put you in the shoes of both teams. If you're Forest Grove's coach, Scott Tierney, right now, what are you saying to your team after a good third?
I'm saying stop forcing the ball into the middle on offense. Every time that they get clean shots from the wings, ball's going in. I'm holding the ball, being deliberate on offense, trying to earn those shots. I'm moving the ball when we draw a slide and trying to get back to the backside where we can take that look that Beaverton has struggled to stop. Discipline and grinding the clock, I think, is super important for them. They also need to make sure they don't give up transition.
And conversely, for Beaverton, you want to get those transition opportunities, I imagine.
Beaverton wants to push transition. They want to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers and see if they can make plays. Interesting thing that they did on the last possession of the third quarter, they came out with only 5 guys on the offensive side of the field. Then had Dylan Brink come on from the defensive side, tried to set him up for a big timing room shot at the end of the quarter. They didn't get it, but they did succeed in getting his hands totally free. So maybe some other situations where they look to bring him in over the midfield line in the fourth quarter to try to get those situations for him, as he has not really been a factor on the offensive side of the field today.
By the way, just to complete my previous thoughts, it's 5:30 is the official start time for Lake Ridge versus Jesuit here at Wells High School. It's 11-9. Forest Grove leads over Beaverton. As I mentioned, this is the same score that Beaverton beat Forest Grove by in the regular season. But right now it's the Vikings with the lead, and they're looking for another big face-off win here to kind of control the tempo a little bit, play your offensive game, but be patient with a lead. And they want to win this face-off right here. Lipscomb's been very good at that. And right as I say that on cue, just a beautiful face-off.
He wins it to himself. You see Beaverton take their face-off guy, Finn DuBois, off of him really quickly, and they get a pull on him. As Dylan Brink settles in to guard Lipscomb.
Yeah, and Lipscomb, he just kind of, he looks to set up a possession for his team, come off, does his job well. And now they've got an offensive possession. And as I mentioned, here's Longstick with it. They might want to, they're not going to be overly aggressive. I mean, they're going to be aggressive, but they want to be patient, too, with this lead. And here's Stock. Carter Stock into the middle. Content to bring it out right now, and I don't blame him. 11:15 left to play in the ball game. 11-9 Forest Grove.
The freshman, Dylan Brink, dodges the alley, goes back. Nice two-man game there. We've got a short stick matchup for Carter Stock up top now. Beaverton counters and changes the matchup really nicely to get Dylan Brink back on the ball.
And if you're Beaverton, do you want to see any more pressure here, knowing that you are down and you don't want to let them run too much clock, or are you content to just let them play around a little bit?
I would be trying to get to hands every time, but I wouldn't be overplaying or panicking at this point.
Save made by McDonald. And now Beaverton, this is where they've looked very dangerous, is in transition. Manso can't handle it. He's up against a deep hole and 2 white jerseys. Hold.
Ball's going to go back to Beaverton.
So a hold on the Vikings. Slower start to the fourth quarter, which shouldn't be shocking considering Forest Grove won the opening faceoff. Because to start the third, we had a flurry of goals. Everett Linth trying to get back into his rhythm. He scored 2, and what a save by Tierney.
Tierney gets the ball out quick. They've got transition.
What a lead-up pass from the keeper. Stock, he's on his preferred left. Stock scores! And he's got a hat trick.
Stock had Jared Coons across the crossfield in transition there. He looks off that pass, earns the middle, and buries the ball past Liam McDonald for a big 3-goal lead.
So the Beavs now down 3. Carter Stock, the first goal of the fourth quarter, puts his team up 3 for the second time today. Last time Beaverton went down 3, they went to Mungai.
It's going to be a hold right there on Beaverton.
Yep, that's not what you want to see if you're Coach Cox. Beaverton fans can't believe it, but you saw it. The right call.
Pretty clear there. I think a lot of times, though, that people don't understand what is being called on those face-offs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they all,
Yep. So Forest Grove just having a day with face-offs with Lipscomb. Stock, who just scored, centers it. Another goal, and I think that's Kuntz again.
Coons cuts the backside. This time Stock gives it up. The lead opens up to 4 for Forest Grove. This is where we get into the danger zone for Beaverton. If they get down behind by multiple goals, which they are, they're not winning face-offs consistently. We're at the point where the clock can become a factor in this game.
Absolutely, and I was going to say, if you're Forest Grove, you don't want to stray from your comfortable offensive style too much, especially because of how well it's been working. But I do think that, especially with the face-offs they've been winning, they're going to try to take a little more air out of the ball, now up 4 goals in the fourth quarter. Lipscomb is just a machine, isn't he? Gave it off, and who's this going to go to right here?
I don't know if that pass was tipped. It looks like maybe it was tipped, and they're giving it to Forest Grove.
All right, so a bit of a break there for the Vikings.
Also explains why that pass was so errant. Yeah, quick dodge from Hepler. He takes one. Shot goes wide.
And Beaverton coaching staff absolutely beside themselves on the sideline, thinking that they should have gotten possession there.
Personally, I thought it was a pass and it was deflected, and that's why they gave them the ball back. But as the game has started, they've brought in another play. We can't go back and overturn that now. We've got to play forward.
So Beaverton, and you can understand the frustration from the Beavers. They've given up 4 straight. There's 9 minutes left to play in the game, so clock is very much against them.
Henry Harris does a great job getting the hands right away on the whistle.
Stock.
Gets underneath.
Off the crossbar, I think.
Big save. McDonald is there. Maybe he got some help from the crossbar. And looks like Beaverton got the run out.
That's big for Beaverton to win that, because now they need some offense desperately, down 4 goals. That's deflected out to Forest Grove.
It's just a little oopsie right there. Aggressive play from the defense right there, and it's going to stay with Forest Grove. Kind of seemed like the Beaverton player may not have given the Forest Grove player his 5 yards on the restart that time. This time they definitely do.
And this is where I would expect Forest Grove to try and use a little more clock, kind of bring it out, and they do to Carter Stock. Stock has already got his hat trick and an assist to go along with it.
Carter Stock using his box lacrosse skills right there. He's just going to take those checks like it's no big thing.
He's a big, strong guy. You can just tell looking at him. I wouldn't be shocked if he plays football either because he's a tough kid. And as you said, had no problem saying, all right, you're going to hit me, I'm going to wear it. Beavers do regain possession. Stock applying some pressure on Mungai, and he might have committed a hold or something of the like. And I think actually if Mungai doesn't go down there, he probably gets away with it, but I think that's a smart play from Mungai, knowing that he'd win the penalty by going down. Kind of like in soccer, you got to go down to get the call sometimes, and I'm not criticizing him. That's a smart play because wins the penalty.
I think you're probably right on that one. It's kind of similar to a call that we saw go against Mungai in the first half, though, where he had a push that against a bigger guy was kind of an even pressure sort of play. And against the smaller guy, he pushed and landed him in the penalty box. So good to see consistent calls coming out of our officials here in the championship game. Seasoned crew on the field.
Yeah, I think it's been a very well officiated game, as it should be for a Cascade Cup final, but these guys have done a really good job. Now with it behind the net for Beaverton is Linth. Linth's got two. Mungai, good look, and a good save from Tierney.
Mungai stares down Tierney, stepping down on the wing that time, and Tierney meets him, says, not this time, my friend.
And Tierney has just had a great second half.
Attacks that ball, sends it out of bounds.
Now Beaverton's not going to want to waste a lot of time, and they're getting into the attacking zone fairly quickly. Mungai. Unk going to throw it back to the deep hole. Good look. Deflected. Getting a look was Brink. And Dylan Brink now going to pick it up. Sub 7:30 left to play. Mungai. Wide. Tierney in good position that time. Look how powerful his shots are. They go all the way up the hill and nearly onto the rugby field. Manso, who has an assist today, gets it in behind the net. They're looking to center. Pretty good off-ball defense by Forest Grove, anticipating those runs to the middle. Linth kicks this out for Mungai. Mungai, he likes these one-on-one opportunities, probably because he's so quick like that. Generates a beautiful move and scores. That's why he likes those one-on-ones, because he knows he can beat you.
The left to right split there, just like a crossover move in basketball. He earns the middle and buries it past Tierney. Once you get the goalie moving side to side like that, it becomes a lot easier to score. And he manages to get that one past the Forest Grove keeper, who's been so good in the second half here. Does this spark another run for the Beavers?
And that's why it's so crucial to win these face-offs if you're Forest Grove, especially after just conceding one. Because now you especially want to take your 2-minute offense, so to say, to put it in football terms. Long stick wins it out, and another great face-off from Lipscomb, who's going to have a go. No, but they got possession. So Lipscomb, he's got a goal and a lot of face-off wins in this game. By my count, unofficial, he's got over 14. He's got about 15 face-off wins.
Another shot out of bounds from Forest Grove, and they will maintain possession.
Quick restart, swarmed by orange jerseys. Beaverton needs to take possession and win this one back. Ball's on the ground, and Forest Grove scores.
It is Coons with another ground ball into a dunk. We see a Beaverton player slamming his stick on the ground in frustration.
Yeah, and it's hard to blame him. That's a tough one right there. Just scored, looking like he could get another possession, and Coons comes away with the ground ball and makes it a 4-goal game.
Beaverton came heavy with the slide to Hepler right there. Did a great job getting the ball on the ground, but no one protecting the middle to pick up the Lucy.
Got to give a lot of credit to these Vikings with the way they've come out in the second half. Especially after a big Beaverton run where the Beavers scored 3 unanswered. Now to take a 14-10 lead against a team that beat them the one time they meet in the regular season. And Lipscomb just a machine on the face-off. And he's not going to be in any hurry here. This team's got a 4-goal lead with 6:10 to play. Running it behind the goal, calm in possession.
This taken close to 30 draws in this game. He's maybe lost 4.
He's won a lot of face-offs. Yeah, I misspoke when I said 15. I meant 25 face-off wins for him.
And Coach Tierney is going to talk about it with 5:48 to go and a 4-goal lead.
We'll take a very brief break. We'll be back here in 1 minute.
How's it going? Pretty good.
Welcome back to Ida B. Wells High School. You're watching Oregon Sports Beat. It is a 14-10 game. Forest Grove leads Beaverton here in the Cascade Cup Championship. The Vikings have exploded with offense here in the second half. They've played smart in the fourth quarter, and they find themselves in great position right now, Dave.
They're very close to getting the first lacrosse championship in the school's history at any level. Beaverton, one-time state champion, going back probably about 10 years, where they had an exciting last-minute victory over a stacked Jesuit team, which included now pro players Tucker Dordovic and Sam Handley on attack.
Of course, speaking of Jesuit, they'll be playing for a four-peat tonight, but Lake Ridge, very formidable opponent. In fact, Lake Ridge beat them in the regular season 5-4. That game is at 5:30, the championship game. 14-10, Forest Grove leads, and they've got possession. They had it, but dispossessed.
A bit of an odd way to restart play out of the timeout. The freshman Dylan Richter is taking the ball rather than one of the attackmen from Forest Grove. He's guarded by a short stick, Axel Walter, rather than the poles, but Walter does a great job on the cause turnover, and now he's bringing the ball into the offensive zone for Beaverton. You're going to see Beaverton calling a timeout right there. One referee giving him a timeout, one referee giving a signal for a hold, so either way, we're going to come out of this at Beaverton ball.
So again, we'll take a brief break, 5:23 left. (14-10), Forest Grove. Beaverton moves it into the offensive zone. They use a timeout with 5:23 left to play in the fourth quarter. Forest Grove trying to hang on, get a big Cascade Cup championship win. We see the all-star teams warming up on the rugby field right now. They'll be ready to go after this one. Good chance here for Beaverton. Moving all the way in. Now a long stick comes away with it, Forest Grove. Here go the Vikes. Big, strong take. And he's wrestled down, and a penalty flag for a cross-check, I believe.
A big ground ball right there from Cole Graham. He muscles his way into the offensive end and draws a foul.
Really nice take there from Graham. Not afraid of the physicality, and Beaverton picks up a penalty.
More importantly, that offense, that man-up possession forthcoming is going to run more time off of the clock. You see Beaverton coming out to press hard despite the fact that they are man down. They realize the sense of urgency they need to be playing with here to get back in this game.
Carter Stock is going to take this. He's got a hat trick today. And again, man up, you can use clock. You can use the clock and get a good shot off, I'd say, on this possession if you're Forest Grove. So kind of the best of both worlds at this point in the game with a 4-goal lead. Stock, the lefty. About 10 seconds left on the power play, I'd say, with the man up, I should say. Now I want to get a look. Here's a deep hole. Gets it to his right. Can Forest Grove get a look? They can, and they're up 5. There's Kuntz again.
It's a sick pass from Grayson Gooden to Jared Coons, who's camped out on the wing, a spot where Forest Grove has scored numerous goals today. He sets his feet, lets it fly.
So they take advantage of the man up, and Forest Grove now comfortable, 15-10.
That might be the final nail in the coffin for Beaverton.
Yeah, and if you're Beaverton, you know, lack of numbers definitely hurt you on a day like today where it's so hot. And they came out strong, got a 3-1 lead in the first quarter. Forest Grove played better down the stretch, you know, losing. They won this one, but losing all those face-offs takes its toll. And I think that's a big part of what's come down to. Forest Grove just been a little better down the stretch. Beaverton does get one back here with Mungai, who's got 5 now.
Another run from him that gives us 3 goals as quickly as his last 3 goals, and you got a ball game.
15-11. There's 4:18 left to play in this one. And Lipscomb wins another face-off. Takes a hit, too. Tall, strong player is Lipscomb. He's got a goal in addition to those million face-off wins today. 4 minutes left to play. Lipscomb content to use a little bit of clock, and here's Kuntz, who scored 4. Into the middle, great feed, and it's another goal for Forest Grove, 16-11.
Beaverton's defense doing the right thing there. They've got to press out and try and make something happen. Forest Grove exploits it, gets the ball inside on the backside. Great offensive plays these last couple of possessions from the long stick, Grayson Gooden.
Yeah, and I've been impressed with Scott Tierney, as you said, Coach of the Year in 6A. And you can see why. You know, these guys have made really good adjustments from going down early in the game. His team's played sound. Haven't made a lot of mistakes in the second half. They've executed on the offensive end. They've found ways to utilize guys like Stock, Kuntz, and really just everyone, guys like Hepler as well. And they've just played a really nice game here. Another face-off win for Lipscomb. Gets it out to Stock. Beaverton trying to press. Down 5 goals. And Stock knows what to do at this point. Now that he is pressured, he's going to try to make a little bit of space. Coming back is Cash Mendola. Beaverton with some swipes. Picked up by Stock. Clock ticking away on the Beavers. And it's just been a game where Forest Grove, even with guys like Mungai and Linth keeping Beaverton in the game, tying it up at one point after they fell behind, they couldn't sustain the runs. Forest Grove had the right adjustments, found the right answers, and that's where we stand right now with under 3 minutes to play. They've held the ball for a long time here, get some looks in front of the goal. Forest Grove picks it up.
See a timeout right there. Long stick Grayson Gooden sad about that timeout call. He thought he had another goal. Coach is saying in his big voice,
Yeah.
I don't need you to score right now. We just need to take care of the ball for the next 2 minutes and 39 seconds.
And I don't know how you do an impression that good, but hats off for that one. That's what I felt Coach Tierney right there.
He's got the big Irish voice. Does a great job getting his players locked in, really turning around the Forest Grove program in the last couple of years.
And you've already taken care of what he's saying in the huddle right now. But, yeah, he very well deserved the Coach of the Year. Again, turning a program around, in my opinion, is just one of the most impressive things that you can do in sports. And this is going to be – it's going to mean a lot for Forest Grove in the Cascade Cup Championship to see how far they've come, to come away with silverware.
Also a great season for Beaverton as well. Let's not overlook their accomplishments playing in a very tough conference, finishing over 500. This is probably the best season in Beaverton lacrosse in 10 years. Probably the best season since the year that they won the state championship. And, more of a young team than a senior-driven team. So hopefully Coach Cox can bring in some more young players to keep building around his core. And hopefully we see both of these teams in the state playoffs next year.
Beaverton in that Metro League, toughest conference you can be in. And it's 2:40 left. They've got a 5-goal lead, and this guy, Carter Stock, has had a heck of a game. They're going to put some pressure on him, but he does a great job using his strength, using his body to take those hits. And he's kind of being like, come at me right now. I dare you.
The double team is coming.
And Stock still unfazed.
Yeah.
That's getting dangerously close to a penalty. One guy applying the pressure, and Stock, I think, enjoyed every minute of that.
Yep.
He's had a heck of a game. 3 goals and assist. And a lot more that's not going to show up on the stat sheet.
Now it's Kuhn's turn to play keep away. Beaverton does get the ball on the ground, though. Can they come up with it?
They do come away with it.
Yep. Mungai's got transition here. A clean 4-on-3 for the Beavers. No quit in the Beaverton squad. They force it upfield. It can't be handled. Everett Linsk can't come up with it, and it's Forest Grove back in transition the other way. Grayson Gooden now bringing the ball into the offensive zone. He'll slow it, and they'll look to, no, it's taken away again.
Nice hit from behind that time.
Credit to the Beaverton squad's fight. They will not give up. They keep playing.
And that's a testament to the way that they're coached.
Yep.
Another good save, but even though it's not going to go their way, Cox's squad plays the game the right way. They fight till the end. It just shouldn't matter what's on the scoreboard. There's time on the clock. You're going 100%. Just about a minute left.
Looks like it'll be Beaverton ball here.
That's the signal I thought I saw. Forest Grove fans starting their claps. They're excited about this one. They know they're about to take home some hardware. And much deserved after the performance they've put up today. Carone has it. He scored 2 in the first quarter. Carone dishes this one off. Carone's now open again. They go to a long stick. Brink fires. Ouch.
I think Brink's shots have hit more defenders than he has hit the cage today. And a player down with 40 seconds left in the game, not something that you want to see.
No.
A hush comes over the crowd. Tip for young players, you want to be shooting around your defender in that situation, using him as a screen, not trying to shoot through him.
Just 40 seconds left. Unfortunate to see this towards the end of the game. Really like the no quit in Beaverton. As I said, a testament to the way that they're coached. You go 1,000% until the final whistle. Forest Grove, likewise, and great to see him get to his feet. He's going to get an ovation here.
That's Braden Delaney soaking the shot.
And good to see him jog off fully under his own power. And he appears to be all right. 40 seconds left in this one. We hear the "Let's Go Vikings" chants. Forest Grove about to take home the Cascade Cup. Some action behind the net. Here's Mungai, who's got 5 today. Mungai reverses. Mungai had it deflected away from him. This is going to do it. There's a turnover. Brink. Can he get another look? And I think the keeper was the closest there. He was, Tierney. So 16-11, Forest Grove wins the Cascade Cup. And just a launch there from Tierney in celebration. They're excited. You love to see the emotion here. Forest Grove, what a season. Credit to Beaverton. They've also had a really good year. Forest Grove rose to the occasion today, and they win at 16-11.
Some interesting things happening 45 minutes west of Portland, Oregon. That's the Forest Grove program is building. Big hugs from our players on the sidelines. Coaches getting tackled. No cooler, so.
On a hot day like today, maybe it would.
Cooler would feel great right now, I bet. But a lot of excitement out of that Forest Grove group.
Good to see hugs on the Beaverton side as well. They fought their tails off, not just today, but all season. Had a great run.
A lot of these players have known each other for years, have played through the club circuit together, and, you know, great to see a good, hard, clean game.
Absolutely. And especially for the seniors to go out with a fight on both teams. And they're going to meet at midfield. What was a very entertaining Cascade Cup championship. Forest Grove 16, Beaverton 11 is your final. You're watching Oregon Sports Beat. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, we have the All-Star Game. Thank you so much for listening, and don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon.